The Average James Podcast.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode. I am your low maintenance friend, Average James, and welcome to the podcast today. So, some good news and some bad news right off of the top of the show. I guess the bad news first is that so far I haven't had any questions come through. I'm going to give you all the benefit of the doubt because this show still is very, very new. This is the third episode, so I guess this would make it's actually only the second week because we had kind of like a soft opening, and then I guess this would be the second actual episode. But the good news is I haven't had to buy any more expensive equipment. I haven't had to get a new microphone. This software I've been using appears to be helping quite a bit, where it's dulling down some of the background noise, getting rid of the uhs and ums, and making it a little bit more crisper, clearer to understand. I guess the super expensive headset I'm wearing helps as well. But I say all that to say, again, this only works if I have your all's support. So please send me your questions. I'll be happy to answer them. However, in the meantime, I do have some topics I want to get covered today. First one, I guess us just diving right in, is looking at Pope Francis and the Catholic Church. Now, I'm not a Catholic. I've never claimed to be a Catholic, but I am a Christian. I've went to church my whole life, not that that makes me a Christian or anything, but I do have a lot of doctrine under my belt, if that's what you want to call it. I've had a relationship with Jesus Christ for a very long time. Now, Pope Francis made waves just about 2 or 3 days ago, where I believe he was in, I think it was Singapore, talking to some of the people there. And he said in a statement that everyone has a different path or a language to reach God. But in saying this, he seems to overlook a critical aspect, I think, if you really care what I have to say, Jesus Christ. And no, I'm not using that as a cuss word. I'm talking about Jesus, the person. The Lord himself says in John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. So it would seem to me that there are some contradictions between what Jesus is saying in John and what the Pope said while he was in Singapore. Now, I haven't even brought up yet the Catholic Bible. Did you know that the Catholics have their own Bible? A Catholicism Bible? I don't know. I don't know. Is it just called the Catholic Bible? I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert on this topic, but I do know that the Catholic version of the Bible includes 73 books in total, compared to the 66 books that are in a standard King James Bible or any other version of the Bible that you would consider mainstream. NIV, King James, the KJV, ESV, whatever. It's 66 books except for the Catholic Bible, which is 73. Now, I'm no mathematician, but it seems to me like the Catholic Bible has 7 additional books in it. Now, I know Catholicism is, I think, still the world's biggest religion, but they got quite a few things wrong, in my opinion, if you ask me. What about in the end of Revelation where it says, do not add or take away from this book, or else all of the curses will be added to you if you try to modify the Bible in any way, shape, or form. And somehow, the Catholics have decided to add 7 books. But I digress. The Pope in Catholicism is seen as the supreme shepherd. Like, Google this, it's crazy. He's considered the supreme shepherd with a certain level. I guess once you become the Pope, you have a certain level of infallibility. But if Catholicism is right in this regard, I would have to think that Jesus Christ, again, the person, he might have something to say about Pope Francis's comments and might be challenging him on his so-called infallibility. I mean, let's face it. We're all fallible. We all sin, and we all fall short of the glory of God. I think something else that Catholics believe, and if you're Catholic out there, don't unfollow me just yet. Just, you know, we have an open forum, an open dialogue, and I'm happy to hear your side of the story as well. But I believe that Catholics think that the Pope is the descendant of Peter, and that the other bishops are the representation of the 12 apostles, which still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either, because Peter was an apostle. But anyway, I digress. I'm just saying that it's there is no other way to heaven. There is no other language to God. Muslim, Sunni, you know, Buddhist, you pick your flavor of religion that's out there. The Bible is the only one where Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. He's the only one that ever claimed to be risen from the dead. And as such, I think Pope Francis was wrong, which means I can't be a Catholic because I think he is very much fallible. Moving on to the second topic, just not to make it any less important, but again, we keep these podcasts to 20 minutes or less. So I'm just going to hit on topic 2 super quick because you've probably already been beat to death with it in the mainstream media here over the past couple of days. But the second attempted assassination of Donald Trump happened just 2 days ago, I believe. And the recent assassination attempt, I don't believe all of the details have still been discovered yet as to what this whack job's motivations was, but we do know that he was staying at the Mar-a-Lago, not staying in the bushes at the Mar-a-Lago resort, waiting on Donald Trump to go by so that he could take some pot shots at him. He was there for something like 12 hours, got there at 1 in the morning or something like that, sat there all night with a couple of backpacks of ceramic tiles to serve as some type of bulletproof, cheap IBA type Kevlar, and had himself a rifle with a scope on it. Luckily, he didn't manage to get any shots off, but I would think at this point, you know, why haven't we gotten a full detail on Donald Trump yet? Is it because the Democrats, are they secretly hoping that one of these whack jobs succeed? Are they secretly hoping that between now, I mean, think about it. I mean, I think it's only been 8 weeks. In the span of 8 weeks, 2 people have tried to kill a former president. This is unprecedented, people. This is unprecedented. And still, I think we are to the place where President Joe Biden, if he's not wanting one of these whack jobs to succeed, if he really doesn't want any harm to come to Donald Trump, I would think that Joe Biden should, in a show of good faith, put DJT, Donald J. Trump, on a full security detail for the next couple of months until he takes over. Because let's face it, he's probably going to win the presidency. I think I'll be able to look back on this and say that on pretty good authority that he's going to win this time around. Not everybody's probably going to be happy with that, but hey, the truth is the truth. Just a thought though. Maybe they should go ahead and give him a full security detail. I don't know why they wouldn't at this point. Moving on to the third topic, Sean Diddy Combs. I don't know if you've heard of this today, or this topic kind of veers into pop culture, but the former icon, if that's what you really want to call him, P. Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs, has been charged with racketeering and forced sex slavery. We're still waiting for the judge to hand down whatever kind of sentencing that he's going to hand down in this high profile trial. But one thing is for sure, the stuff that he did over the last couple of years has been pretty despicable. It's said that he had multiple forced types of deviant sexual behavior at his house that would last days at a time. I believe he was one of the ones on Epstein's flight logs when he would go down and visit Epstein's island on the Lolita Express. And so really crazy there that he could be in the public, in the spotlight for so long, and all of this stuff just now start to come out about him. It really makes you wonder, makes you think what Tupac and the notorious B.I.G. would think of their man today. Moving on to advertising and sponsorship, we're still in the infancy stages here at the Average James podcast, and now is the time to get in on the ground floor. If you would like to advertise on our show, please reach out to the Average James podcast at gmail.com. Again, that's the Average James podcast at gmail.com. We'd be happy to hook you up and plug your project. Why not start a business relationship with us today? I think you should go ahead and just jump right in. Maybe I'm a little biased. Speaking of jumping into things, this episode is brought to you by ThickFit Bounce and Fitness. Katie Mounts, the creator, has lost more than 90 pounds doing this intense cardio workout. I've tried it myself, and it's the real deal. You feel like you're going to die while you're jumping around, but I promise you, take it from me, you can hear me talking today, I'm not dead yet. You'll feel like $1,000,000 after you're done. If you think you have what it takes, please reach out to Katie at ThickFit Bounce and Fitness at gmail.com. Again, that's spelled just like it sounds, Thick Fit Bounce and Fitness. That's AND Fitness at gmail.com. Classes are for everyone and take place every Thursday and Saturday. And hey, if bouncing isn't your thing, check her out at her cinder block classes on Tuesday evenings. You need to reach out to her at ThickFit Bounce and Fitness at gmail.com today. I am recording this episode a bit earlier than usual because I'm having surgery this Thursday, but I am in good spirits. I believe this is the best thing for me. Those of you who have known me a long time, I've had issues with my nose. No, I'm not talking about plastic surgery. Don't go getting crazy thoughts in your head, but I have had a deviated septum for a while and a bunch of other issues that the doc is hopefully going to get fixed for me on Thursday afternoon. They're going to do this procedure, and hopefully it doesn't change how I talk or how I sing. I've been told that once you get this surgery and get things fixed, it could change how you sound a little bit. I hope that doesn't happen to me, but hey, if it does, Lord Jesus, please let me sound like Chris Stapleton. If I could sound like Chris, I would be okay with that. And I would sing to myself all of the time. Of course, then I'd have to learn how to play the guitar, which is a different topic. Finally, my final thought of the day. If you want to be truly free, I'm talking to you older folk out there, those of you who are elder millennials, Gen Xers, maybe even you baby boomers out there. No, I'm not talking about Gen Z and Gen Alpha, which again I found out was a thing just last week. Makes my skin crawl thinking that there's two generations that are underneath my own now. But I'll tell you, you older folks out there, those of you 35 and above, if you want to be truly free, stop caring about that trashy music that's getting released today. Stop trying to be caught up on the latest fads, the latest music, and the latest lingo. I didn't know what true freedom was until I stopped listening to what was supposedly popular. I stopped trying to understand what my kids were talking about. And I just decided to go back to listening to my 90s and 2000s jams. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, I'm talking about the truly good stuff. I don't care what bussin' is. Back in my day, we said things like that was tight, or that was sick, or that was fly. These new terms can go right back to hell where they came from. I don't really care about bussin' and fleek and riz and whatever my kids are talking about today. Forget that. Maybe I'm turning into that old man that's going to be yelling at the neighborhood kids saying, "Get off of my lawn." But hey, I'm getting grayer day by day. My beard is getting grayer, my hair is getting grayer. I might as well start to embrace it. I'm going to go to Cracker Barrel and I'm going to pick me up a wooden rocking chair just so I can yell at the kids a little easier as they go by. But anyway, keep it real, keep it simple, and keep it average, my friends. Feel free to reach out to me again with your questions, but until then, I'm signing off. Have a good night. We'll catch you next time on the Average James Podcast.
The Average James Podcast. Tune in fast. Good vibes that last. The Average James Podcast.